Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. After a rocky day yesterday, we are seeing a little bit more of a drop today while I'm recording the video, but earlier we did see a pretty significant drop. So we're looking at Bitcoin right now. I'm going to be covering more news and we're going to talk about XRP at the end of the video. With Bitcoin today, it dropped down to about $74,100. We've seen that bounce. It's up to $74,900. Looks like it's trying to reclaim $75,000. The fact that it's dropped below that number really suggests that we are now looking at that as a level of resistance. This is a pretty significant drop over the last 2 days, so I don't think it's that strong of a resistance. We might be able to pass above it fairly easily. But one of the drawbacks that we have is that on the weekend we actually tend to see lower volume. In addition to that, there's a lot of things going on around the world right now that's really stress testing the markets. For one, you have to take a look at what's going on with the stock market. We're seeing all-time highs, green, 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 green. That can only go on for so long, and when that starts to drop, people might start panic selling, especially if people are doing over leveraged positions on various things. And we're seeing also people getting liquidated when it comes to crypto. So you have to be very careful with this stuff. In addition to that, we also have issues going on with Cuba, with the United States. There's talks about boats that are surrounding Cuba, so potentially there's another war on the front. You also have what's going on with Iran, that the activity and fighting might actually start resuming soon. And of course, you got the war with Ukraine and Russia, and you've got Israel and what they're doing to Lebanon and with Gaza. And I mean, there's just a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world right now. Concerns about another pandemic. There's several different things that are being monitored right now. You also have issues, for example, over in the Congo with Ebola, and then there's the hantavirus. Anyways, so let's go ahead and move on to some of the other crypto related news. Just keep these other factors in mind. So first up, we have right here from Ash Crypto, the reasons behind the crypto market dump. They say the renewed attacks on Iran. CBS News reported the US could strike Iran again. New strikes would spike oil prices, which makes inflation worse, and higher inflation could push the Fed toward rate hikes instead of cuts. Bad for crypto. Number two, the Clarity Act odds are falling. In just 2 weeks, the odds of the crypto market structure bill being signed into law dropped from 75% to 50%. Now it's a 50% chance. A coin flip. Yesterday was reported the SEC delayed plans to allow tokenized stock trading on the blockchain. The pushback against crypto has started. Short-term bearish. Number three, bond market stress. Japanese bond yields are hitting new highs, and U.S. yields are surging. High yields make borrowing harder, which hurts risk on assets like crypto. What happens next? Bitcoin has dropped below 75,000. If strikes happen this week, or this weekend, it says Bitcoin could fall towards the $72,500 support zone. If no strikes happen, we could see a strong reversal next week. And I mean, the fact that Donald Trump canceled his plans to go to his son's wedding would suggest that there's something pretty serious going on. Either that or he just really doesn't want to attend the wedding. But Ash Crypto, the SEC has officially delayed its plans for blockchain-based tokenized stocks, as I mentioned. And then we have Trump media transfers. Speaking of Trump, Trump media transfers another 2,650 Bitcoin worth $205 million to Crypto.com, bringing its estimated unrealized loss on its Bitcoin holdings to $455 million after buying 11,542 Bitcoin at an average of $118,522 per coin. And then there's this meme that goes on about people assuming that his son is doing insider trading based on all the stuff that he's saying. And there's a lot of accusations with what Trump has been saying and stock investments that he's done and the timing with it. And that's something else that people should definitely keep in mind, and I highly recommend people look into. And up next, cross-chain platform Squid secures $6 million in strategic funding with Ripple among the investors. And here we see it being listed at number 16. This is from Emily. Well, actually, wait, this is a different post. My bad. Ripple equals new money. We got Ripple listed under Cognite and Aura. And American consumers, the sentiment plunges to the lowest level in history. Documented history, I should say, right? Consumer sentiment plunges to lowest level in history. That's not good. Oil importing economies are dumping U.S. treasuries at the fastest pace in over a decade. U.S. Treasury holdings across 10 oil importing emerging markets fell by $86 billion in March, the largest monthly decline since 2011. So of that, you have 56 billion represented outright net sales, with the remaining 30 billion attributable to valuation losses as U.S. bond prices fell sharply during the month. China led the outflows, accounting for the bulk of the 56 billion in net sales. Excluding China, the remaining oil importing emerging markets still recorded $22 billion negative in net sales, a record for the dataset. The pattern is consistent with historical behavior, as emerging markets have repeatedly reduced their U.S. Treasury stockpiles during periods of elevated market stress. The global sell-off in U.S. government debt is far broader than Turkey alone. And from Whale Insider, over $523 million worth of longs liquidated from the crypto market in the last 24 hours. XRP Ledger gains 4,300 new wallets in just 24 hours. So you got people starting to kind of flow into XRP, even though prices are a bit rocky. And there's a crypto exchange called BTCC. I have the link down in the description below. It is my referral link. And this exchange has been around for 13 years. You get access to over 300 crypto futures, up to 250x leverage, and there's no VPN or KYC required. And on top of it, you can get a deposit bonus. This is 10%, and that's on a deposit that's over $500 USDT. There's also extra bonuses of up to $10,055 per user. So if you want to look into this more, or if you want to get started, you can find my referral link down in the description below. And from Crypto Rover, warning, the correlation between US stocks and bond yields just hit its most negative level since the 1990s. Bond markets are flashing serious warnings about inflation, debt, and higher rates, while stocks continue trading near all-time highs. One of them is about to be very wrong. BlackRock ETFs sold $1 billion worth in Bitcoin this week, the biggest outflow in the last 6 months. From JP Morgan, S&P 500 SPY now up more than 12% since JP Morgan told us to short the market. And also, look at this, Tom Lee's Bitmine, they bought $120 million in Ethereum today. But Ethereum's price dropping, and at one point, not too long ago, about 2 hours ago, I'm recording the video, the Ethereum portfolio was down $7.8 billion. Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is sitting at 28, so we're not really seeing any movement there. It's still in fear territory, but it's not really moving one way or the other. ETF clients buy $9.47 million worth of XRP, bringing total ETF held net assets to $1.13 billion. U.S. banks are currently facing unrealized losses of $306 billion. And U.S. credit card account delinquencies by 90 or more days has jumped to 13.1%. The highest level in 15 years, and closing in on the highest level in history. These are not good signs. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on with XRP. So guess what? While I've been preparing my video and actually recording it, we just flipped from red to green. So it's just a tiny bit green, but look at all this. At one point it was down to $1.30. It's come up to $1.33. Starting to show a little bit of signs of life. Let's go ahead and take a quick look back here at Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin's still in the red, but it is making a bit of a recovery there. XRP is trying to hang on. We're seeing volume already that's more than all the volume that we had yesterday, and the day before, and the day before that, and the day before that. And so yeah, volume is pretty high, especially for a weekend. But just in general, we're seeing it pretty high. I'm wondering how high this might try to climb. It also might get rejected because there's a lot of buying going on here. People might end up just pushing it right back down. Keep an eye on a level of resistance at $1.35 because that was the level of support previously on this new formation of this triangle pattern right here. And XRP is still, based on a couple combinations of these TAs, it indicates a short position entry on May 18th. And we've got a series of days going on. It might start to show some signs of reversal, but as it is right now, We're seeing a lot of that bleeding taking place, and we'll have to see how it plays out. The Bollinger Band itself starting to widen a bit. We had that pinch that took place back on May 8th, starting to get a bit wide. Ideally, I'd like to see this pull up. And yeah, we got the median line of the Bollinger Band at $1.41. The VWAP itself has been progressively moving down on the daily, so it's not too hard to pass above that. But you can see that VWAP on the daily is essentially following the line, right? Okay, that's what I got, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit subscribe. And thank you to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube members. God bless. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.